Okay, so we're almost to the end of this section. Session 10. Okay, the slope of the Allen curve. The steeper the Allen curve. Let's see what it's trying to say. Okay. So, what I want you to do now, I think what you should do is sit and memorize this. See here, this comes in MCQ, right? So all this has to do with the Allen curve and it's being flat and it's being like steep and whatnot. Basically, the grades. Okay, so all this is explained over here. Now, I want you to think about this very carefully. So, what I'm going to do is this. I'm going to emphasize K over here. And then when we go down, K is small, K is big, then our variable changes. Now we got when H is big, then H is small. So what I'm trying to show you is link it at what happens to the Allen curve. So in the MCQ, remember there's going to be your H and there's going to be your K. So that's how you answer it. So let's see what happens when K. If K is large, let's see what happens. Okay, so very easy, right? I'll show you an easy way to do this. When you think of K, think of what the logical thing will happen. And then when you think of H, think the opposite. So if K is large, think large is steep. Now please, K is large. Because in the test I saw it's mostly comparing H, so don't get confused. If K is large, it's more steep. There we go. If K is large, it's more steep. If K is small, it's flatter. It's flatter, right? So when K is large, I'm just thinking, how do you remember this? K is large. Okay. K is large. Okay, so think of the logic. When you think of K, think of logic, right? Actual. So if K is large, it's big. This is steeper, steeper. And obviously when it's small, it's flat. There we go. We just literally summarize that. So obviously if K is large, it's going to be a large shift. If K is small, it's going to be a small shift. So when the way you learn this is think of K as something that is common sense. So if K is large, it's going to be steep, the Allen curve, and it's going to be a large shift of the L curve, right? The L curve is not this curve. The L curve is your demand curve because it's L is equal to whatever. Wait, what's your demand curve equation? It's L is equals to Ky minus Hi, isn't it? Yeah. So your large shift in your demand curve. Right, so that's obvious. Now let's go to H now. Now this is a different variable. Now think the opposite now. Think not common sense. So now when H is large, it's going to be flat. When H is large, it's going to be flat. When H is small, it's going to be steep. So you see what happened? K is common sense, H is the opposite of that. So that's how you remember. So yeah, that's how you remember. That's how you remember those four things, those four PowerPoints, right? Simple. Okay, so right. So let's see what happens when the Allen curve shifts. So what shifts the Allen curve? When someone increases the supply of money. Who? The central bank, SARB, South African Reserve Bank. When they increase the supply of money, see how the supply curve shifts to the right. Supply curve now we're assuming it's completely vertical forever, right? Okay. So when the supply curve shifts, right, we're going to be in a new equilibrium. So E1 is going to come down to E2. How? Your interest rate is going to drop. Why? Okay, so I'm going to give you a reason, very important reason. Let's say E1 stays there and this curve shifts to the right, supply curve, right? This means the supply is greater than the demand of money. So what's going to happen now? People are going to have a lot of money. So they're going to want bonds. And we previously said this. If people want more bonds, the bond prices will increase. But what will happen to interest rates? It's going to go down. I told you, if bond price goes up, it must go down, the interest rate. If interest goes up, bond prices must go down. So they have an inverse relationship, opposite. So because the bond price will go up because people have a lot of money over here, the interest will go down. Therefore, the E1 will go along this black line to this equilibrium. That's the answer. Obviously, now if they just give you the LM and IS curve, IS they don't show you, but it's that curve that goes like that. Obviously, money supplies increase. That is what is that is monetary policy. Monetary policy affects the money markets. So that's money market is associated with the LM. So just shift it to the right. That's good. Supply of money increase. That's good. Right shift. Um, yeah, that's what happens over here. Um, the position of the LM curve shifts. So it says when real money supply. Yeah, basically what I just explained right now. Right? To restore the equilibrium, I told you bond prices goes up, interest rate goes down. So combining both models, right? We have this. Price level is constant. I told you this in session 5. We're assuming price is constant. Okay. So let's say there's an increase in what? Okay. So let's say now we in this and they tell you the government spend R1,000,000. The government answer goods market or money market is going to be the goods market because that's government. So which curve are you going to shift? You're going to shift the IS because this is the goods market curve. So it's going to move to the right. There we go. It moves to the right. So what happens? New equilibrium. Interest increases as well as output increase. If I tell you government cut tax, government cut tax is going to affect the IS curve because government is part of the goods market. Cutting tax is good. That means more people have more money in the economy. Aggregate demand is going to shift to the right. If I tell you the federal bank increase the supply of money, decrease the supply of money, in fact, decrease. Supply of money is always got to do with the LM curve, so it's going to shift to the left, decrease the supply of money. So you just play around with that, right? And yeah, so obviously the way the IS curve shifts, right, is going to be the multiplier times your investment. Or to make this simple, if I said, wait, let's see, makes sense. Yeah, makes complete sense. So whenever time we want see this vertical distance between this curve and this curve, you're going to take your spending times the multiplier. So IS curve is a goods market. So the government spend R1,000,000, and if the multiplier is 5, 1,000,000 times 5, 5,000,000 will be the distance from here to here. Not this equilibrium to this equilibrium. This is different. It'll just be this. Yeah, that's all that I explained. Okay. So this we derived before. Aggregate demand. I'm just trying to think how they derived it. The LM curve shifts to the left. Let's see. What made the LM curve shift to the left? LM curve deals with the money markets. Oh, they decrease the supply of money. Right, they decrease the supply of money. Okay, makes total sense. So if they decrease the supply of money, obviously a new equilibrium will happen. So what's going to happen is see this equilibrium, join it to this, join it to this. This is the exact same as that equilibrium Y. That's the exact same as that equilibrium Y. To get the price level, suppose price increase from P1 to P2. Okay, they'll tell you what price increase. So let's say price increase from 100 rand to 150 rand. So put the lowest amount here, 100 rand, put the bigger amount over here, and then see where this dot meets this dot, draw a dot. This dot meet that dot, put a dot. And then aggregate demand is a negative sloping curve. So you just make a line, join it. And that's how you get it, right? Quantity theory of money, what does it say? Okay, in the short run, right, we assume prices is fixed. So, because prices are fixed, right, our quantity theory of money, the P is going to erase. So, what does this mean? People, the MV, the amount of money supplied, will basically be equal to only the output. So, it makes sense. The Reserve Bank will only supply the money for the people to buy like products. This basically means there's no inflation. Because normally when M increases, P increases. There's inflation. If people put money in the economy, see, before the quantity theory of money, we assume when people put money in, the spending in, the government puts spending in, inflation is going to happen. But because now prices are fixed now in the short run, we assume in macro too there's no inflation. So when government puts money in, we assume Y increases. So, and where's that? Let's show it. Like over here. If the government puts money in, Y increases. And we say nothing about price. You see what I mean? So Y only increase when money puts in. And that's session 10 done.